For our next episode, we have Eric Asbeck. And this is a great pleasure of mine to introduce. Eric is someone who turns business dreams into achievable realities so you can build a business aligned with your passion. Eric, introduce yourself and tell us about your world.
Hey there, David. So first of all, this is awesome. And I still love being in your space. So like David said, I'm Eric Asbeck, and I teach coaches, speakers, authors, and program leaders how to grow their passion into a purposeful business. And I have a system called the Purpose Impact Thrive system. And I'll start by saying, I never really fully appreciated how precious life is until it was almost taken away from me. And I'll get to that in a moment. So like a lot of you, I've walked a path. It's like challenges, fears, dreams, all that sort of stuff. So here's a little bit about my journey. And I'll say, what I've had to do and learn and deal with over the course of time has really transformed my own life. And what I can share with you maybe can transform yours. So years ago, I was in a place maybe some of you would recognize. I was juggling demands of a high pressure corporate job at Bell Labs, and I had a family with young kids, and there was a lot of stress, but I'll tell you, it was still really interesting and exciting. And I really grew a lot from that experience. Leading diverse teams, I had to build business cases for new products and give the developers direction. And I learned to communicate with executives there in some of my later roles. And along the way, I was getting my MBA in the evenings, which I don't recommend, by the way. I would suggest that you do it on a part-time, not on a part-time basis, but do an executive program. But I discovered I really loved the business skills that I was learning, but how can I apply them? In the technical role, it really wasn't as much, it wasn't a thing. So I took some time and got really clear about the skills I wanted to strengthen. And then I purposefully started taking on side projects where I could showcase them. And my management sometimes looked at me like, how come you're doing that instead of building technical skills? But, I worked with them, and it gave me the opportunities to move me in the direction I wanted to go. And, as I was doing that, I remember my director pulled me aside one day and said, look, you're going to have some moments with top executives, and you can't just ramble. You got to be really clear, concise. What are the points you want to make? What are the requests you want to make? And note that, because that's actually a key to being an effective speaker. And it's turned out to be a fundamental tip that I've used time and again. So as things took a turn, I made this bold decision to make the transition from the technical role to product management. First at AT&T, which owned Bell Labs, and then at NCR, and then at Cisco Systems. And each one of those moves gave me a new set of challenges and fears. And there were times when those challenges really stretched me, but I got to be honest, I like being stretched, and I still do, which call me crazy, but it's like something positive happens every time I do that. And so, I've had to do a lot of things like convince senior executives to approve my initiatives or manage multi-million-dollar partnerships with global companies like NCR and IBM and Capgemini. So I remember sitting in a conference room with my VP and John Chambers, who's the CEO of Cisco Systems, just the three of us, talking, just shooting the breeze for about an hour or so. And ironically, John Chambers was from my same hometown, Charleston, West Virginia. But I didn't know him. He went to a different high school and stuff. But anyway, it was like, for me, it was like, oh, wow. Maybe me. No, I never the CEO of a big company like that. But I was the director at NCR of their worldwide Cisco program. And my team and I provided marketing direction and sales support to Salesforce in 63 countries around the world. And we grew NCR's Cisco program to $260 million combined revenue of Cisco product resale and NCR services to implement those networks. So, even though we had this informal conversation with John Chambers over the course of an hour or so, there were some key points that we wanted to make and some requests that we had for the partnership. And knowing that, we were able to come away with some informal agreements, which really made a difference in our businesses. And so, in all these jobs, the stakes were high, but I really, really loved the work. And I was so glad I was bold and made that transition, which, by the way, at the time did not seem like such a straightforward thing. But along with that, life had other things in store for me besides the career stuff, because I faced a difficult divorce, which really tore me up. And, even though we parted amicably and on good terms, it was still tough. And it left me questioning my personal and professional future. And along the way, by the way, we negotiated that I would have my sons for a week and she would have them for a week. So I was able to keep them in my lives, which big deal. So I didn't choose it. It was painful. But I ended up taking a lot of personal development work as I learned to heal. And I'm really glad I did, because it prepared me for what was to come next. Because the biggest challenge that I faced in my life, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, which is a blood cancer that's treatable but not curable. And I had a tumor in my spine. I couldn't walk or stand, and it was threatening to paralyze or kill me. And I been living with that cancer for the last 18 years. And so that's been its own journey. A lot of treatments, fears, moments of really profound uncertainty. And there was a point early on in the journey where I had to face my own mortality. I remember a tear-filled weekend with a dear friend who came into town to help me. And we confronted, how long was I going to live? I mean, at the time, the prognosis was like 3 years, which turned out there was old data. But, it's like, how long will I live? Would I ever walk again? Would I see my sons graduate college, get married, have kids? And sorry, it just kind of chokes me up. But it really deepened my love of life and how precious each moment is. So, despite all that, or maybe because of it, I've discovered the true meaning of resilience and the power of a focused mindset. Facing adversity, it's a choice to thrive and not just survive. It's an active choice. And so that's now the cornerstone of my life and my work. So here's the thing: when you're stuck, pause, step back, get really clear about your vision and where you want to go, and then ask this question: what can I do right now that will move me along the path toward where I want to go? And you can do that actually on a day-to-day basis as you plan daily, weekly, monthly planning. That is a key question. So I've had all these storms, personal, professional, that I've navigated. And along the way, I developed some tools and strategies to stay focused on what truly matters. And even to this day, I'm actually refining those methods. But one example is a tool that's helped me and countless others that I've worked closely with over the years to get really clear about our goals and priorities. And I'll tell you, that clarity is really transformative. It's allowed me and others that I've worked with to, you see beyond the immediate challenges, and you focus on building a life that's like filled with purpose and joy. And going from the corporate world to entrepreneurship, that was this other leap into the unknown, and it wasn't easy. And there were moments where I really kind of doubted my decision. And here's the thing: I figured, hey, I'm successful in my corporate life. I'm doing really well. I've got the tools I need, but it's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different ball game. And what you're on your own. You have to learn to set your own goals and structure your time. You're not accountable to anybody except your customers, but you got to set your own priorities, your goals, your systems, your structure. It's up to you. And so it's been a learning experience. And along the way, I've made some mistakes. I've got made lots of mistakes. And all those shiny objects, getting distracted, different advanced strategies and those sort of things. And, getting pulled away from doing the primary thing, which is like, if you have a business, you need to be making money. But through all those hard knocks, here's what I've learned. You first need to get focused on getting the fundamentals in place, and particularly in the case of speakers, an inspiring message and an offer that your target market is eager to buy, because you got to make money. You got to be able to support yourself along the way. And so my passion of helping others has been keeping me going. And, I see how these experiences and strategies can help make a real difference with other folks. So, especially, like entrepreneurs like you and me, and especially if you're seeking purpose and fulfillment, both in your business and in your whole life. So that's kind of where I am now. Long story.
That's great. All the experience in the corporate world, being project manager, actually having great success, then with life happening, and the combination of those two together has given you the ability to now venture off into your own business, working and helping people. People have challenges. It's one thing for them to hear, oh, I need to do this, whether they read a book, something online, a little tip here and there. But those challenges are real for people's lives and in their business.
Yep.
How they're going to get from being stuck to accomplish goals in their business. Real quickly, maybe there's some things you can share, how you actually have something available, not just nice tips or anything, but you probably have a business that specifically helps them overcome those challenges. Maybe you could talk about what you're doing today as you're helping people, programs, different things. How do you get people from stuck to unstuck? What are you doing?
That's a great question. So first of all, let me frame it up to say, if you've got a purpose and a passion, a lot of times you're going to find that you're trying to fit your round peg into the square hole of a job. And so then you're like, okay, screw it. I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to get the word out. I'm burning with fire. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, darn, I got to make money. It's like, I got to turn it into a real business and support my family. So, you want to make an impact and you want to support folks. And so, and I'll say, if you do that, it lets you do what you love every day. And it's not just about making money, but making a difference. And it lets you address some real problems that people face. And so you can contribute positively to your community and to, have an impact. And not only that, but, if you play your cards right, you build a business in a way that get not just the personal satisfaction, but the financial independence that gives you the flexibility to live life on your own terms, right? And so as you mentioned, I've got this background in overcoming challenges and the divorce and the cancer and all that sort of thing. So as you said, I've got this unique experience on resilience and mindset to help you stay focused on your goals and thrive in the face of obstacles. And so I have this thing called the Purpose, Impact, Thrive system, which is a step-by-step system to give you a personalized roadmap and proven strategies that are going to guide you along the way. And so we'll get into that in a moment, but I'll say, well, let's say this. You want to get really clear about what's important to you in your life and your values and those sort of things, and use that to determine what topic you're going to address and who you want to work with. And then from there, you can go out and start this radical thing, actually talk directly with the kind of people you want to serve and find out what their struggles are and their aspirations. And that's a key, actually, because from there, you can use that to develop a system that will help them get the results. It'll tell you what you need to do for your marketing and all the message that you have. And you want to get those fundamentals in place and put together an offer that your target market is eager to buy and that consistently converts. And spend the time on doing that first before you start to do all these advanced things and try to scale and all that stuff. It's so there's a lot of people that are around like, hey, do this, do that, like all these different things. But if you don't have the fundamentals in place, it's like, well, what am I going to offer? That is going to make me a decent amount of money, enough money that I can sustain myself. So, that comes down to, extensive, like I got a lot of experience, both in the, product manager and Fortune 100 companies and as an entrepreneur. So, I can help you develop a clear roadmap for yourself and set goals and work with you to stay focused on what really matters. And so that's kind of the gist of it.
That's great. Listening to you, I'm thinking there's a really, really big reason for people to work with you, because it's in our mind, we want to do something, and it can be all about us being busy doing things to get money. But when they engage with you, it's more than that. It's about, do you want to just at the end of your life say, oh, I was busy, or do I want to say I was fulfilled? And your journey with all your resilience and struggles has brought about that reality that being fulfilled in getting successful, in being successful is way more. Why do we just want to be busy? We want to be fulfilled. And I know that you utilize speaking and talking and communicating. That's what actually helps. It isn't just this step-by-step plan. You also have utilized speaking and communication to assist people. Maybe you could say something about that.
Sure. First of all, I want to say that it's not just about being busy. I would say that being busy is an enemy. Because if it was just around being busy, then somebody that just chases after things all around is going to be as wealthy as Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or whatever. But you know what? That's not it. It's like day by day, choice by choice. What are the key actions you're taking that will move you tangibly toward what's most important?
Yes.
So how's that tie into being a speaker? So there's like 4 different kind of, I'll call them categories of speaking that I think about. The one you think about immediately is presentations, public, formal, one to a group. You want to present information and inspire. But there's also speaking in meetings, which are kind of smaller, kind of a little less public, but they're structured. There's an agenda, typically longer, and the goal is to impart information and coordinate action. There's something called huddles, where that's been kind of co-opted by some systems but there's a more generally, huddles is like more private. It's one or a couple people just kind of getting together. It's shorter, less formal, and the goal is to share some information and plan the next play. You can kind of think about a football huddle where it's not just the coach sending in the play, but they're saying like, oh, this guy's a little weak on this side, and we can try this play again, and those sort of things. It's that moment that in that momentary action. The fourth is teaching and coaching, which the idea there is to teach and guide and transform. But in all those cases, you do best if you're prepared and the key points you want to convey and the key outcomes you want to achieve. So the better you know yourself, your values, your purpose, your message, and your system, the more effectively you can do that. And the more people you work with, the more you can refine your message based on their feedback and what works and doesn't work. And your feedback, so your message, your offer, and your system to reliably help your ideal customers get results. So that's valuable both on a business side and privately. I mean, think about like, I want to ask this girl out for a date, woman, or, I want to have some friends over or organize a party or whatever like that. It's still, you got to know that stuff. And so I'll say again, to be most effective, you want to be super clear about your long-term vision and goals and the business and life you want to create.
It all ties together, doesn't it? We're talking discovering your own purpose, your own goals, and your vision, whether it's for your own personal happiness, but it's the same in business. And when you communicate, it's the same there too. It all is one thing: is what is your message? What is your goal? Where are you headed and what do you want? And getting clear on all that. And
Yes.
It's great that you work with people doing all that. It isn't just let's have a project and finish it. You really help people deeply.
I'm kind of a strategic. Well, so if you look at my LinkedIn profile, like business strategy and strategy, it's like, anyway, that's my mindset. Yeah.